afternoon, everybody. I hope you had a nice Christmas and a Happy New Year. Can't believe it's already 2024. This afternoon, I am on my way to hike at the Wyggeston Trail. I'm on Route 528 heading south. So just enjoy the scenery while I head to the trailhead. This is actually our first snow of the year. I measured 1.5 inches at my house. I've just been really busy the month of December, holding down 2 jobs and then just the stress. But I have relaxing Christmas and New Year's. Okay, I'm gonna make a right up here at Chrisley Road. I decided to come hiking after services this morning. Okay, Chrisley Road is actually a park access road, so you can't go too far. I'm gonna hang a right up here at the trailhead. If you go a little bit farther, there's a gate. Here we go. And this small parking area holds about a half-dozen vehicles. I was just here last week with my hiking group. We did a group hike. So I'm just gonna pull in here. And I hope you enjoy this video. Even though it's winter, it's always good to take water with you because your body will still get dehydrated. So it's good to stay hydrated. Now, as you can see on the sign, the loop is blazed in white and the yellow is the through trail, which would be the out and back trail. Okay, I'm going to begin my hike. You actually have 2 options when hiking the Wyggeston Trail. The first option is you can hike the 1.5 mile loop, and the second option is you can hike the 3 mile out and back trail. And the 3 mile out and back takes you down to where the oil well exhibit is. And here's a little history. I just wiped off this marker. Wyggeston Trail. This trail was named by Frank W. Preston. This is in honor of his boyhood school, Wygge in England, where he developed his interest in nature and the outdoors. The Prestons bought property in this area. They donated it to the Western Pennsylvania Conservancy when the idea of the park became a reality. Lake Arthur is a partial restoration of the old glacier lake, which was formed by the glacier of the Wisconsin Ice Age, quote. So when I say out and back, it's just how it sounds. You hike one way in and you have to hike back. And that is 3 miles, and that is rated as more difficult because of the elevation change and the rocky terrain. I'm not sure what this is. Maneuver around it. So this afternoon I'm going to hike the 1.5 mile loop. I'm going to cross Chrisley Road and just hike a short distance into the old ruins. And later on I'll explain the history of Chrisley Road. And this trail is blazed in yellow and white. Pull out the snow boots this morning. so beautiful seeing the snow laying on the trees. So on this loop, we will have some elevation change and some rocky terrain. So I'm just watching every step I take. The temperature is 35 degrees with snow showers, and I'm actually quite comfortable. It's important to dress in layers when you hike in the winter. You want to wear thick, warm socks, appropriate footwear, and you want to have a lot of layers and stay away from cotton because it holds moisture. And one nice thing about winter hiking, no bugs. But you still want to watch for ticks. Because I have read that people have found ticks on their dogs. Now on the Wyggeston Trail, there's no scenic overlooks, views of the water, or waterfalls or streams. It's just a nice hike through the woods. Now, a lot of complaints I've read on the All Trails app was the trailhead is difficult to find, and that's down by the oil well exhibit and the old Route 422 launch. A lot of people have had difficulty finding the trailhead. And the trail is a little overgrown in that area. I know I hiked it in June 2020, and there were nettles everywhere. But as long as you're dressed appropriate and have insect repellent, you should be okay. Just check for ticks and take a hot shower when you get home. So I'm going to say around World War II, or after World War II, Dr. Frank Preston purchased this land. And you have to try to think back to what the area looked like then, 80 years ago. These trees probably were not here, for this is all new growth. So there were probably beautiful views of the valley below. You have to try to kind of imagine what it looked like 80, 90 years ago. And the noise level is generally quiet. You'll hear an occasional car on nearby Route 528. Another blow down. I'm just gonna step over it. The 3-mile out and back section goes through a very remote section of the park. And this is just a nice hike through the woods. I was at Jennings on Friday. From December 30th till January 8th, they have the New View New Year. It's a interpretive hike. So you grab a brochure at the park office, and it has all of the highlights of the park numbered. But if you're planning on doing it, tomorrow's the last day. It's nothing like hiking on fresh fallen snow. A lot of people are like, should have been like this for Christmas. Christmas Day was near 60 degrees. It was beautiful weather. After we opened gifts Christmas morning, I headed up to the Allegheny River Trail and did some bike riding. There's some mature trees. Wow, how straight. Nature is just amazing. Yeah, there's some rocks sticking up. So you just want to use caution. Got a little bit of an elevation here. It's not too bad. Just a refresher, when you see the blazes on trees, they are like guide signs along a highway. They tell you where to go. And they also reassure you that you are on the trail. So always look for the blazes. We're like on a ridge here. I'm just imagining what the view looked like before all these trees grew up. I will tell you, snow is pretty, especially on Christmas, but you have to remember, Christmas is a chaotic time. A lot of people are out traveling, either by air, car, or rails, and a lot of people are stressed out. And snow just adds to the stress. I will tell you, first-hand experience, it's no fun spending the night at an airport. In June, when I was flying back to Pittsburgh from Orlando, my flight was canceled because of strong storms. So I spent the night at the Orlando International Airport. I survived, but I will admit that it wasn't fun. But imagine traveling during the Christmas holiday to see loved ones, and your flight's canceled because of inclement weather, and you have to spend the night at an airport with small kids. I'm just going down this elevation very slowly, taking baby steps. And back to snow and Christmas, especially if you're traveling to see loved ones. The last thing you want is to be stranded, whoops, on the side of the road. Especially with small kids. Even though snow is pretty on Christmas, I'll take a mild and green Christmas. And come to think of it, the first Christmas, when our Savior Jesus Christ was born, there was no snow. People fell in love with the idea of snow on Christmas in the 1800s during the end of the Little Ice Age. The Little Ice Age was a period between the 1300s and the 1800s of unusual cooling. So in the 1800s, when a lot of these popular Christmas songs and poems were penned, there was snow at the mid-Atlantic latitudes. And did you know that Jingle Bells was not written to be a Christmas song? It was originally a Thanksgiving song. And it was penned in the 1800s, and it was considered racy for its time. Just a little history lesson. So when they say dashing through the snow, there was snow at the mid-Atlantic latitudes during November. And everybody loves the song, "I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas." I think Bing Crosby's version sold the most copies. Some rocks, some slippery rocks. One good thing, we're not going into a deep freeze. Could be a lot worse this time of year. So next week temperatures are going to be in the 40s. Hopefully it's okay Tuesday morning, because we're supposed to get mixed precipitation, so hopefully the roads are salted by the time I go to work. I'm down to one job now. And December was not too shabby, and that was good because my seasonal job is working outside. Top of a boulder. And through the trees, you could see Route 528. Here's a little bit of an elevation. At one time, there were 4 schoolhouses within the park's boundaries. Of course, this was before Moraine State Park was created. And nearby was the Bunker Hill School. It was located off Route 528. So that was one of 4 schoolhouses that was in the park's boundaries. Just taking my time, enjoying the scenery. I'm in no hurry. Because when I get home, I'm going to make shepherd's pie. And I can go ahead and enclose the recipe at the end of this video. This elevation change is just enough to get that heart pumping. Great cardio. Little bit slick and muddy. So if you hike the loop and the out and back section and back up again, it's a total of about 7 miles. But just keep in mind, if you hike down to where the oil well exhibit is, you're going to have to hike back up, and it's a steep hike on the way up. You're probably wondering, what's the deal with this tree? Well, back in June of 2020, this tree was struck by lightning. And a few days later is when I did the hike on this trail. So I have pictures of this tree a few days after it happened. And you could still smell the wood smoldering. It's kind of creepy looking. Snow is coming down a little more harder. And temps around 33 degrees. I'm just going to use caution. And just take baby steps. Looks like it's trying to clear up. Oh, another benefit of winter hiking. If you are afraid of snakes, then winter hiking's for you. Because the snakes are all hibernating. I'm not a fan of snakes. If I see one, I just step back. But they are startling whenever you're hiking and you look down and yikes, there's one right in front of you. Oh, don't forget, Winterfest at Moraine State Park is on Saturday, February 3rd from 11 to 4. I went last year and there was a great turnout. And I did shoot video too, so you want to check that out. And I'll go ahead and put the exact title in this video. Doing some cross promotion. There's food and craft vendors. Last year they had a guided hike. And K-Love was there, and they had live music. And the lake was froze over, so I was able to walk onto the ice. And it's held on the North Shore at McDonald's. There's no I in McDonald's. You know, it seems like ages since I posted any hiking videos. I have been going back in my archives and dusting off the cobwebs of some old footage. So if you're bored, feel free to watch. You're probably wondering why there is a sewer or water grate in the middle of the woods. From what I was told, the family campground was supposed to go in this area. And that explains the abandoned beach, which isn't too far away. But they decided not to open up the campground because, from what I heard, there were a lot of other campgrounds in the area, and they, I guess, didn't want to add to the competition. I'm just gonna maneuver around this blowdown. Always feels like I'm doing the limbo. There we go. trail is a little bit slick. Another important tip while winter hiking, wear a hat. Remember when you were little, your mom used to say, put your hat on. Well, it turns out that most of your body heat escapes through your head. Okay, here's a intersection. So which way do I go? I'm going to go right. If I go left, it's going to take me up the loop again. But I'm going to go right and hike down to Chrisley Road. The loop is blazed in white and the out and back trail is blazed in yellow. So I can see how that can get confusing if you're not familiar with the trail. So know your different colored blazes. So this one's going to take me down to Chrisley Road. Just want to use caution. There's a gully. And unnamed tributary, which obviously flows into the lake. This is one of 75 tributaries that flows into Lake Arthur. Looks like the snow slowed down. Trail goes right around this giant boulder. Here's some fungus. What's a hike without seeing fungus? I come to a fork in the trail. I'm going to go left down to Chrisley Road. Not sure what this purple blaze means. Looks like another trail. Not sure exactly where it goes. I have to look at an updated version of a park map. So when I get home, I'll look online. Or it can mean private property, because usually purple means private property. But this is all park land. When I get home, I'll look into it. So I'm going to follow the yellow blazes down the hill. Well, I'm at Chrisley Road, and here's a little bit of history on this road. Before the park was created, this was a country road. It was known as Whippoorwill Hill Road. However, the name was changed to Chrisley Road because there's a Whippoorwill Road nearby in Mount Chestnut. And that was just causing a bunch of confusion. This road is closed to the public, but it is a park access road, and it leads down to the lake. You can hike on it, but you just can't drive on it because it's gated. And when the park was being created, let's say you lived in Butler or Pittsburgh or somewhere in the area. Your route was disrupted, even though you didn't have to give up any land. But if you had loved ones that lived in the area, you had to change the way you went. You had to change your route around because a lot of roads were cut off by the creation of the lake. Okay, I'm going to do a short hike down the out and back loop, but I want to show you the ruins. Right here in the middle of the woods is a stone fence. You have to try to imagine what this area looked like 100 years ago. These trees were not here, so this was all farm field. Farms dotted the landscape. So they put these fences up for either field borders or property borders. And you also see those stone fences along the hilltop trail. Yeah, there's another view of the stone fence. I know it's hard to imagine, but this area was farmland at one time. And over the years, succession happened. Here we are. That was once the farmstead. Just use caution because there's a pit that was once a well. And all of these people built their homes near the spring. That way they wouldn't have to lug water far distances. Because you have to keep in mind, indoor plumbing was in its infancy. Or not invented yet. Yeah, here's some stone ruins. If only these stones could talk. Oh. I wouldn't be poking around here in the warmer months because I'm going to assume that there's snakes in here. Here's a foundation. And the stones they used for the foundation, they were found nearby. They didn't have Home Depot or Lowe's back in the day. You used what was around you. Okay, I'm going to make my way back to the parking area now. I'm just going to use caution. And I'm going to make a right. If I go left, that'll take me down the steep hill. But there's these stone ruins all through the park. So when you're hiking, just keep an eye out for them. Here's one last look at the stone wall. You can see nature is definitely reclaiming what was once this farmstead. I'm going to go ahead and hike back to the parking area via Chrisley Road. There's something just beautiful about snow on evergreen trees, something so peaceful and tranquil. And this is one of the many pine forests at Moraine. A lot of these trees were planted by volunteers from youth groups and Boy Scout troops. I'm definitely walking through a winter wonderland. You're probably wondering what that water tower is for. Actually, this was supposed to be for the family campground. That's what I read. How cute! Little Christmas tree. That is so adorable. Here's another patch of evergreens. The Wyggeston Trail is beautiful, but too bad some of the trail didn't meander through the evergreens. That would be so ideal if a trail meandered through this pine forest. These are just beautiful trees. And all I can hear right now is the faint sound of traffic along Route 422. And somewhere in this area was Gallagher Hill Road. How I know that? I was studying old maps of the area prior to 1960. So these maps are from the 40s and 50s. And Gallagher Hill Road connected to Whippoorwill Hill Road, which is now Chrysley Road. And you can find the maps online if you just Google old maps of Butler County, PA. And in the Butler Public Library, they have the giant maps you can take a look at. And those maps are located on the second floor. Of course, there's no evidence of Gallagher Hill Road because nature reclaimed what was left of it. I'm coming up on the gate. I'm getting close to the parking area. You can see the sign, Service Road, authorized vehicles only. Caution, this area open to hunting, so make sure you have your orange on. And this is just another parking area. Turn around. Maybe Gallagher Hill Road was in this area. I don't know. Because a lot of the old country roads they repurposed as hiking, horseback riding, and snowmobile trails. So you can see a lot of the old roads off North Country Club Road. It's where the horse trails are located, and there's some mountain bike trails too that were repurposed. So I don't see any evidence of a road. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.